Pure consciousness with no content. Can it be sustained? An immersive transmission into the silent field beyond all experience. Opening transmission, before thought, before sensation, before identity and memory. There is a quiet presence that does not move. It sees without eyes, hears without ears, knows without words, and yet it contains no thing, no form, no self. This is pure consciousness with no content, not the awareness that observes thoughts, but the vastness before any observer appears, not the peace of mind, but the stillness that knows no mind at all. Is it possible to remain in that? Can it be sustained, not as a fleeting glimpse, but as one's natural state? Let us enter this mystery fully. 1. The meaning of pure contentless consciousness. When most people speak of consciousness, they are referring to awareness of something. A sight, a sound, an emotion, a thought. Even the idea of being conscious usually involves a subject and an object, a me that is aware of that. But what we are pointing to here is not awareness of anything. It is awareness without content, a pure field with no form, no thought, no image, no feeling, no memory. It is like the blank canvas before the first brushstroke, the silent air before any song begins, the unmoving presence behind the movement of the world. This is not an altered state. It is the ground of all states. Before attention lands on any object, it arises from this groundless ground. The ancients sometimes called it the witness, but even that implies a subtle duality. This is prior to witnessing. There is no observer here, only the infinite openness in which the illusion of an observer arises. 2. The glimpse versus the abiding state. Many spiritual seekers have tasted this, a sudden dropping away of all inner noise, a moment where the personal self vanishes and there is only the vastness, perhaps during deep meditation or at the end of a long retreat, perhaps spontaneously while walking or watching a sunset. There is no I in these moments, only being. But then, the moment passes, thought returns, identification creeps back in. The question arises, can this pure, contentless consciousness be stabilized? Can it become the default mode of being? The answer is yes. But not through effort, not by trying to hold on to it, not by trying to stay aware, because even the desire to remain in it creates a ripple. Even the effort to sustain it is content. The moment you try to grasp it, it slips through the fingers of attention. It can only remain when you no longer stand apart from it, when you as a separate self dissolve into it completely. 3. What makes it seem unsustainable? To the mind, this state appears impossible, because the mind needs movement to feel alive. It cannot comprehend silence without boredom. It cannot grasp awareness without an object. So it creates the illusion that pure consciousness is fragile, like a breath that can be lost if not watched carefully. But this is not true. The problem is not that this state cannot be sustained. The problem is that the one trying to sustain it is the very illusion that must dissolve. Imagine trying to stare directly at your own eyes, or a flame trying to illuminate itself. As long as there is someone trying to be pure consciousness, the illusion of separation continues. But when there is a complete falling away of the one who is trying, only that remains, and it was always there. 4. Natural rest versus willful practice. This is where many seekers stumble. They believe that attaining pure consciousness requires intense effort. Strict discipline, hours of sitting, years of austerity, but paradoxically, the more force you apply, the farther you drift, because force implies resistance, and resistance is rooted in identity. The ancient seers knew this, which is why the highest instructions were often the simplest. Let go of everything, do nothing, be as you are. These are not passive slogans. They point to the actual gateway beyond the mind. When all effort ceases, what remains is not laziness or sleep. It is alert stillness, radiant and free, a natural resting in that which requires no maintenance, because it is not a state, it is the essence of being itself. 5. The role of the body in sustaining it. Here is a subtle truth often overlooked. Pure consciousness is not confined to the head. It permeates the entire field, including the body. Many seekers try to escape the body to find the self, but in doing so they reject the very vessel through which stillness expresses. When the nervous system is calm, when breath slows, when posture is aligned and relaxed, the body becomes a tuning fork for the unstruck sound, a hollow reed through which silence plays, not as an experience, but as its natural rhythm. So gentle yin yoga, breath awareness, open gazing, these are not merely techniques. They are invitations to let the body dissolve its tension into the field. And when the body is open, it does not resist the formless. It becomes transparent to it. 6. The subtle trap of observing the observer. Some teachings say, be the witness, observe the observer, notice awareness itself. But even these, while powerful, can become traps, because as long as there is an eye watching, there is still content, there is still someone doing the noticing, and thus the silence is still filtered through the sense of being someone. True silence arises only when there is no one left to observe, no one left to meditate, no one left to remain aware. This is why the final letting go is not of thoughts, but of the one who believes they are meditating. When that dissolves, there is nothing but this. No effort, no memory, no story, only the luminous absence in which all things arise and pass, and what remains when the seer is gone. You might ask, if the one who sees is gone, then who or what remains? This is the great paradox. Because something does remain, but it is not a thing, it is not a someone, it is not aware of anything, it is awareness itself. Prior to all perception, it is the open space in which even silence echoes. It is presence without identity, knowing without an object, being without any boundary, and it is not fragile. It is not affected by time, thought, sleep, or death. You are that, but not the you that was seeking it, only what remains when all seeking ends. 8. Can it function in the world? Now a practical question arises. If one abides in this pure awareness, how does life continue? Do you stop eating? Do you stop speaking? Do you stop thinking? Not at all. What disappears is the personal doer. What remains is a seamless flow of action arising from stillness. You walk without the walker. You speak without the speaker. You act without acting. The body-mind continues, but like a leaf blowing in the wind, it is moved by something deeper. And because there is no self at the center, there is no conflict, no resistance. Life becomes simple, effortless, whole, sustaining versus surrendering. So let us return to the question, can pure contentless consciousness be sustained? And the answer is, it cannot be sustained by a person, but it can be surrendered to. In truth, it is always here. It does not appear and disappear. Only your attention moves. Only the illusion of self reasserts itself. But when even that movement is let go of, what remains is not an altered state. It is what you are, before you tried to become anything at all. Not something to hold on to, but something to fall into completely, again and again, until even the one who falls is gone, and only this remains, mystical reflection. What is the sound of consciousness without thought? What is the flavor of being without identity? What remains when even the silence is silent? To know this is not to gain anything, but to lose everything that was never truly yours. You cannot carry it, you can only be it, and that being has no center, no name, no end. Just this, forever opening, call to action. If this transmission touched something in you, some inner stillness remembered, let yourself return to it, not by force but by release. Consider subscribing to receive future sacred explorations, or becoming a member to help support the continued unfolding of this work. Each video is an offering into silence, a space where the infinite begins to speak without words. Next episode preview. In our next sacred inquiry, we will dive into the luminous phrase, what yogis mean by becoming the space between atoms. A direct pointing to the energetic expansion beyond form, into the infinite subtle field where matter and mind dissolve, and only presence remains.